Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. I remember the Onassis kids, when I was there, they had 107 ships with Panama Registry, the Greek guys, and no debt, all cash. They had no finance department. They had one guy to count the money, another guy to count the money he counted, and another guy to count the money that the other two counted. They had no personnel department. They had no medical health insurance or anything. If you came in sick, they used to say, okay, here's $1,400. They knew how much a tooth cost. Here's $800. They had none of that overhead. Okay, they owned Olympic Towers, and they owned Olympic Airlines. They gave the airlines back to the country because we didn't know. Because the story is, when you make a lot of money, they tell you to diversify your risk. I'm here to tell you, Mr. Peña, don't diversify. Just keep making the same nuts and bolts until the machine breaks, okay? Or until they stop buying them. We gave the airlines back to the government because we couldn't run a fucking airline. Olympic Tower is 40% full, 60% empty. We can't even rent. We don't even know how to rent or lease prime real estate in Manhattan. But what we do know how to do is fill ships up with stuff and overcharge. That's the only thing we know how to do. Stick to your knitting. Focus on the few, not the many. That's some of the proverbs I learned from being with Onassis people. And for several years, I was the only non-Greek in the senior management. And they all hated me. Except for Gratsos. And if he loved you, doesn't matter what everybody else thought. Right? When I see you, you look kind of like a... Gratsos is that picture right there. Except you got more hair.
Oh, yeah, I got a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more, yeah. He always wore... I never saw him without a tie. Except at night he'd wear a silk smoking jacket with a cravat. You know, a scarf thing. I never saw him with a coat unbuttoned. And I never heard him say a swear word. I never heard him. And he always called me Mr. Peña. I called him Mr. Gratsos, and then Constantine, and then towards the end of his life, I called him Costa. But he always called me Mr. Peña. Always, always. And he was a Renaissance man, you know, a raconteur. He could speak 3 or 4 languages, and he knew this 1846 Chateau Margaux, not 1946 Chateau Margaux, and he knew all this stuff. And he was a great guy. But I didn't tell him how much I appreciated him. Then pretty soon he's dead. I thought everybody just stumbles off the street and finds the CEO of an asset shimming line to take you as a mentee. I was wrong. And okay, in the back. I've been talking to Vinica about you.
About me?
She said, watch out. She told me, watch out. And if she's warning me, go ahead.
Yeah. If you finance the 5 deals,
Is this a legit question or a Dutch question?
let's see.
Okay, go ahead.
The bank, I expect banks to want a guarantee from the holding. If you finance all individual, how do you? Is it fine? It's not,
No, because remember, and this is in your scripts and your templates. What did the guys do before scripts and templates? For 17 years. Every time you, now it keeps flashing. Every time you ask me a question, I'm trying to think. Up till from 1993 to 2010, did anybody ever ask that question? No. But depends how you set it up. Every deal in your template, you're talking to the banker. Does this deal stand on its own accord, on its own 2 feet? And there's 3 or 4 different ways to say that. And they say yes. Did it stand on its feet before I was going to be a potential buyer? Yes. So then why do you need my guarantee now? There's no answer to that. Other than they'll say it's a banking rate. That's bullshit. We both know it's not a banking regulation. I'm sure we can get you. I'm serious. Don't walk in the periphery of the property. For those of you that are wandering around, you might get shot because they're hunting all around the state. We're not, but they are. In fact, some of you, do me a favor. Walk on the periphery of the... Do me a favor. Now, I shouldn't have said that. Huh?
Do we get guns too?
No, you don't get guns too, you know. Okay, so I'm sure we can make the bank comfortable. That was one of my favorite sayings. Now, once in a while they say, well, how are you going to do that? But normally, they got check boxes. Just they want to feel comfort. We've had senior bankers in here from all over the world that say, I mean, you've got banking figured out. I mean, you know which buttons. Well, I've been doing this a long time, number one. Number two, I've done it all over the world. But I know we can make the bank comfortable. Another way of saying the same thing, what would it take? Now, once in a while, they're going to say no. For whatever reason. What would it take for me to get a yes on this deal from you? And they will show you. Now, if they just don't like you and you're a convicted felon, no, they'll say, there's no way. But they will say, well, can you restructure this? I've done real estate deal a long time ago. If you put it in the REIT, the Real Estate Investment Trust, we can do the deal today. Now, I'm not going to explain to you what that means, but I'm just telling you, there are ways to do deals. There are ways. There's a way to do every single deal on the planet. Now, if the bank, remember, you're calling the bank, are you in a lending mode? Healthcare. Now, if they just lost $4 billion in a healthcare deal, don't fucking waste your time calling them. The banks I used to call, they have tombstones in newspapers. Tombstone are the ads. Okay, $11 billion healthcare deal, and they list all the banks that were involved. Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, I wouldn't pick the top three banks. I won't pick Citibank, Deutsche, or ING, but I'll pick the second tier. Those are called the main bracket bubble banks. I pay the second tier, every motherfucking bank on there. There may be 30 banks. I'm contacting every single one of them. Now, when a deal blows up, the deals normally, they wrongfully, they cut out all lending across the board in healthcare or whatever it is. There was an artificial intelligence deal that blew up about 7 years ago. You couldn't borrow a nickel for artificial intelligence for 6, 8, 10 months because they got burned so bad. Because it's like a rubber band. They always overlend, and when it blows up, then they don't lend at all. Yes, sir.
How long did it take after? How long before you will refinance the entire?
Oh well, how long's a piece of string? Depends. We've had guys refinance stuff. We've had Dutch guys. Your colleague next to you refinance stuff in 30 days. Now, it's easy when you do 5, 6, 7 seller finance deals. You can refinance, this is an exaggeration, the next day, the next week. Because nobody is on the line. There's no exposure. There's no bank exposure because there's no bank involved. When you tell the seller, now I don't normally bring up the seller finance if they hesitate. If I'm not, because I'm a hammer guy, I want to fucking answer now. Okay, I can understand 6 weeks a long time. How about 6 days? Done deal. No lawyers. And they say yes. Almost everybody hates lawyers. I don't think that you should, but almost everybody does.
But sir, did you say that they should have the lawyer present?
Yeah, well, we're talking about bank lawyers. Yeah. Bank lawyers kill more deals than personal lawyers because the bank is covering its ass, not its ass, but the bank's ass. You say 6 days. I've said 6 hours before. Then I didn't perform. It took us 10 hours. But anyway, I got my point across. 6 hours. And you can. I used to carry with me. I don't carry them anymore. I used to carry there's a deal that you can get off the internet where a quick deal, quick sale. Quick It's a document where people sign over their house to you, piece of property. Quick claim me, quick. I used to carry them in my pocket, but it was for businesses, not for. I mean, you can sign it right now. Let's do this fucking deal now. Come on, sweetheart. He's not cold in the grave yet, but let's mambo. And I used to carry also remember when Andreas was interviewing the board members beforehand. I used to carry, let's say there's 7 guys on the board. I used to carry 7 resignation letters with each board member's name on them. Get out, hola Juan. You don't like the shit? Well, then we understand, so you can sign your resignation right here. Hola Juan. I can just see you saying that. Hola Juan, get out. Oh, fuck. And all this shit works. It's embarrassing how easy it is when you get the hang of it. It's getting the hang of it that's the challenge. Because it's so far, it sounds crazy, Sally, I told you, someone once in a while sits in there. She says, "Do even register, Dan, the looks on their faces?" No, it doesn't anymore. If I reacted to just the looks on your face, I'd never get anything fucking done, because it's all it's like I'm talking Greek, Fuck, they're probably hunting on my property now. That gunshot was too close, I haven't shot at anybody in 4 or 5 years here. You can shoot a squatter dead, or a poacher dead in Scotland. Poacher meaning they're hunting or fishing on your property. You can shoot them fucking dead.
Fishing too?
Fishing and hunting. But they have no trespass laws. So if this was a master bedroom and there was a tub here and Sally's taking a bath, a guy can come and look in my window like a pervert, and there's no trespass law. There is, but but what I do is I put a dead rabbit under his arm and I shoot him.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Or I put a fishing pole and a fishing bag under. Yeah, I have shot at poachers here before, and but now I more or less have a reputation that they don't come on here. But there's always the Robinsons behind us, bringing people from Korea, Japan, and the Japanese and Koreans like to shoot them. I mean, they feed them in the morning, and they shoot them after lunch. They feed the animals in the morning, and they shoot them after lunch. Now, that's not much sport to me. In fact, that's no sport. Literally, they feed them kibble and shit. And then they shoot them after lunch. And the worst are the Italians. They like these automatic weapons. M16s. We went to a safari in Botswana many years ago. The Italians were just leaving the camp and we were just getting there. And they had an old pet buffalo that used to wander in and out. And a lot of these places, some places have pet lions and shit. This one had a pet buffalo. And as we're driving up, we hear automatic. And before the Italians left, they killed the pet buffalo with automatic weapons.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I could have been wild, They were feeding it that night, but so you never know. He might charge you. Yeah.
In Botswana, don't ask for permission; you ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. Well, but I haven't killed an animal, a 4-legged animal, in almost 30 years now. I stopped hunting a long time ago, but I like an African continent. Not all of it, but I like carrying a gun, basically. I think Sally says you just like carrying a gun and being able to use it. That's all. You don't give a shit, But anyway, that's a whole other story. Okay, anything else about Andrew? Now, other than the Germans, can you relate? He's just a regular guy that kept track of his time, that's now, on his way to, I won't say stardom, but I mean, just a regular guy. It's more difficult to relate to the bitch, but his leadership skills are minimal. His communication skills are minimal. His presentation skills, financial presentation skills, are excellent. He didn't really show them here, but just a regular guy. And when he said you can't do anything in the 2 weeks in Christmas, that's bullshit. That's a myth. You show up at the banker's house. I mean, I got shit done during Christmas. But I mean, I told you I blocked the driveway of a senior financial guy years ago. He shows up at 5 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? Now, not many people do that. It's not illegal to block the guy's driveway. It's not in good taste, I would think that, some of the more crass places in the world, like Australia and places like that, they'll phone you there. Yeah. Anything else about Andreas? Yeah, go ahead.
With the money side of things, can you approach banks in other countries to get deals?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you've got to know if some institutions are prohibited from lending money outside certain geographic areas. You got to find that out first. Okay. But healthcare, you can do German healthcare deals from British banks and vice versa. Some you can do Bulgarian, Lithuanian deals with German banks. Not everybody will lend into Russia, but some will. They shouldn't lend into Italy, but they do. And where you look for where they had a previous relationship. Now, you don't go if they just lost $800 million in that previous relationship. And so you Google, let's say you're going to do a deal in Bulgaria, Deutsche Bank. You Google Deutsche, Bulgaria, and see if there's been any fraud, any bad loans. And then when you call, you're in a lending mode, your lending parameters outside German Republic, blah, 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 blah. And they say yes, and then you don't just go there and expect that they're going to loan money. But there's not many. The EU is pretty open, even though the UK is not part of it anymore. I mean, but the EU itself is pretty open. There are not many restrictions.
What about the insurance companies? Like I read that on some of your stuff that look for like people like Allianz. And that.
Oh yeah, Allianz has a lending arm.
Yeah.
All the big insurance companies have lending arms. The Toronto's Teachers Fund pension plan has a lending arm. A lot of big pension plans have lending arms.
Have you ever done any deals with insurance?
Yeah. The ones I just mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I won't say the most forgiving, but one of the most forgiving pension plans on the planet is the Toronto's Teachers Pension Plan. Because they have a massive big portfolio. Their average ROI for the billions that they have is 7.05% across the board. If you come at or close to that 7.05 and it's a legitimate deal, they'll do your deal. Because all they want to do is maintain that status quo. They're not interested in higher, and they surely don't want lower. Thanks, YouTube.